Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me again. I hope you've had a wonderful week and that you're all well. This week's blog topic is an interesting one, and it's all about not putting all your eggs in one basket as a team leader. Let me explain what I mean. But actually, no, before I explain, let me set the scene and then I'll explain. So imagine you are a team leader. You arrive at the venue for your groundbreaking presentation. You're relaxed, chilled, knowing that your top presenter is already there, she's already set up, and she's going to be prepared as she always is. So when you walk in, you find your team sitting there, and one of them casually walks up to you and says, "Oh, yeah, Sharon hasn't shown up." And Sharon, by the way, is your top presenter. Okay, you've got 15, won't be 14 minutes now left until the presentation. What do? You ask your team, like, why didn't you call me? Has anyone called Sharon? What's going on? And there's just, I don't want to scream, but you can imagine the scene, right? So now, if that was you, what would you do? So that's the topic of this blog post. It talks about what should have been done differently to prevent that. But I'm going to talk more about what we can do generally to prevent situations like that, where we put so much confidence and trust in one or two key members of our team to always do most of the work. In this case, it was a presentation. She had a top presenter, and just that word, it discourages others. You can imagine how other team members would feel if they know that there's a top presenter, and it also brings an apathy. And I can imagine that's why in this case her team were relaxed. It's not like there was no one to prepare. They were there, they were waiting for the top presenter, and because of that apathy, that distance, and that lack of a shared sense of ownership in the presentation, they were not bothered. And they were probably waiting to see what you, as the team leader, were going to do. You and your top presenter. So I've got two key tips, which I believe are loaded enough, in the sense that I didn't want to put in more. Which can help us to prevent things like that happening generally at work, where we're faced with situations where somebody doesn't show up. Maybe they're ill, they have to attend to something else, they're absent, and we're stuck because they're the only one who knows how to do it or who's always done it, and no one else is willing to step up and help or take over. So the first tip, there are only two. The first tip is always encourage all team members to participate, to learn, and to grow. So that means, if we take this example of the presentation, we encourage all team members to take part in crafting the presentation, consolidating it, in doing the actual presentation. That way you get to see everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and you get to help them work on their weaknesses. So if somebody is shy or they are not confident in front of crowds, give them more opportunities to present. Let them know you have their back, and with more practice they'll get more and more confident. And the whole idea is, if the presenter is unwell or doesn't show up, as was the case in this story, somebody else will quickly step in, go through the presentation and present, and you can relax, sit back, knowing that you don't have one top presenter, but you have a team full of top presenters. The other thing which I would strongly encourage is identify team members who have expertise in a certain area, or who have a lot of institutional memory. Structure sessions where those team members share their knowledge and teach other team members the skills that they have. This is very important. It empowers those team members in sharing. It empowers them to know that they're valued. And make sure that you schedule these sessions. Don't leave it to them. Schedule the sessions. Even 30 minutes 3 times a week is enough. And make sure that you as a team leader attend. This is key. Attend because 1, you'll be shocked what you learn. And 2, you're going to bond with your team members. And you're also leading by example in demonstrating to them that you may be more senior in your role. You may be more qualified. You may have more experience. But you believe in continuous learning. And with that kind of attitude, your team members are going to get used to that. And it'll just become a normal way of doing things. So that when there's a challenge, people will not sit back and wait to see what others are going to do. They'll step in and say, no, let me help. Or I think we can try this. And the beauty with that kind of attitude is it's a huge disincentive for apathy and also a huge disincentive for finger pointing. So those are my 2 key tips. I'd love you to read the blog so that you see what this team member could have done differently to prevent this particular incident where she arrived and there was no one to do the presentation. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, stay blessed.